operations to begin pulling the wreckage of an American Airlines plane that collided with an Army helicopter over the Potomac near Washington could start as soon as today, in a few hours, in fact. Last week's mid-air collision killed all 67 people on board both aircraft. So far, the remains of 55 people have been recovered and identified. Yesterday, families of victims visited the crash site, and authorities have now recovered the helicopter's black box as well. For more on the investigation, I want to bring in CBS News correspondent Skyler Henry, who has been reporting since this tragedy unfolded. Skyler, what more can you tell us about not just the relatives of victims going to the side of the river yesterday, but also the salvage operation of the aircraft?
Yeah, Errol, good morning to you. Those relatives and families had the opportunity to visit the crash site yesterday with the police escort to see really what happened out there at the Potomac River and get a full glimpse as to the wreckage yesterday. As for the salvage operation that is underway today, the Army Corps of Engineers, along with others in D.C.'s Unified Command made up of D.C. Fire, the Coast Guard, and other agencies, says that they will begin their wreckage removal at first light right about now. And they indicated that they will begin removing parts of the fuselage outside of the Potomac and try to get it onto a barge. They say that this is a process that could take several days, and there is a lot of factors to include as they move forward with this process. Namely, there is still a recovery process involved in this, and there are still 12 remains that are still unaccounted for. Officials indicated yesterday that they believe that the removal of this wreckage could help divers and others find those 12 remains as they continue to try to positively ID all 67 of those who were lost in this collision. They also said that they will focus these first several days on the removal of the CRJ, that American Airlines commercial regional jet. They will then move to the removal of the military Black Hawk helicopter, both of which will then be put onto barges and taken to a nearby hangar so that the NTSB can continue their work.
And Skyler, we know the NTSB says it will take time for a definitive cause to be established, but are investigators any closer from what you can tell on establishing what led to this?
Yeah, well, every day brings new information. Just on Saturday, officials with the NTSB told us that they have recovered information from the flight data recorders inside of the American Airlines flight. That information was able to indicate that they know that the CRJ was flying at somewhere around 325 feet, give or take 25 degrees at the time of the collision, indicating that that Black Hawk was flying well over the 200-foot limit that is the standard here in and around this airspace. But we also know that early information indicates that what air traffic control was showing was that the Black Hawk was flying somewhere around 200 feet. And so there are some discrepancies there that NTSB officials have indicated that they will continue to try to work through as they look to get more information from the data recorders inside of the Black Hawk helicopter as well. We should also point out that they are finishing up interviews today with the air traffic control operators that were inside of the tower at the time of the collision. We know that they have interviewed the local controller, who's widely been reported as being in charge of both aircraft, planes, and also helicopters as well. But they've also conducted interviews with the ground controller in charge of aircraft and obviously vehicles on the ground, as well as the assistant to the local controller. They are interviewing the operations supervisor for the tower, as well as the operations supervisor in training. That aspect of it could potentially yield some new information as we anticipate to hear from the NTSB later on today. But they also say that they will continue to try to work through a series of working groups, Errol, that are made up of everything from systems groups to human performance and other factors that really sort of tell the full story as to what exactly happened here, as they look to not only get to the bottom of that, but also make recommendations so that what happened last week never happens again.
Skyler Henry, we appreciate your extensive reporting on this. Thank you.